How's it going, everybody? This is Rob Novakast back with another video talking about Castlevania Season 4, Episode 9 and 10, or at least, the finale. And, oh my gosh. I can't believe we're, near the end of this entire series, or at least, I don't know if it's, the entire series, or at least the end of Season 4. It'd be interesting if they continue after this, but I don't know. So, yeah. Episode 9, basically being the endings, as well as Episode 10, it's been a strange ride. So, let's do it. Final video talking about Season 4. Let's get started on this. So, Episode 9, the endings, starts off with, back at Castle Dracula, where they are, again, all the refugees are being slaughtered, and it seems like all hope is lost for Alucard, who is trying desperately to save everyone, and as he's about to be, brutally killed, we have Trevor and Sypha show up just in the nick of time, and it is so beautiful. And I love the quick banter between Trevor and freaking Alucard, where Alucard's like, "Oh great, just where my day couldn't get any worse." I love the banter between these two characters. And it's great that they finally come back, and the fight that ensues, with them, taking on the night creatures as well as the vampires, it plays the main intro theme for the entire series, or at least the entirety of what we saw for the first season. And honestly, it is a great callback to, especially with how far our characters are gone. There's a point where each and every one of them take a certain corner into of the castle to kind of divide and conquer, and sure enough, each and every one of them are putting it putting their all into it. Trevor, I want to say I kind of figured something was going to happen with him, because Trevor gets the worst of it in this entire fucking episode, and unfortunately, after clearing out the entirety of the night creatures and the vampires, or the lower vampires, Sypha as well as Trevor end up finding out that apparently it's Saint Germain causing all of this. And when they go up to the room, there's also another twist. Barney is not a vampire, or technically he is, but anywho, it's discovered that Varney is actually Death, which I did not expect, even though I probably should have. But again, I didn't expect it. But the reason he reveals himself now is because, well, they're bringing back Dracula, and in his eyes, he wanted something that would continuously feed him, because death feeds on the souls of those who have died. So at this point now, he wants his ultimate killer back on Earth and killing everything, and in some sense with, or at least combined in the same body of his wife, it could cause him to go insane. So in that regard, Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard try to stop Germain and Death from continuing their plan, or at least actually. And before that, I should mention there was another fight between 5 nameless. I think one of them was named Drago, but the rest of them are nameless vampire generals who are really cool in their abilities. And I'm going to just say it sucks when we see all these really cool vampires and we don't get any backstory or any other episodes with them. It just, one-shot vampire. We're going to have this one that looks like a plague doctor. We're going to have this one that looks like Frankenstein, or the Bride of Frankenstein to some extent. We're going to have this other one, and then this big, bulking, warrior-type general. Each of them, powerful in their own right. The Drago one, even, more so after the rest of them get killed. He takes a beating. Trevor ends up, using his, I think it was the Morningstar whip to try to blow up his arm, but Drago rips it off and throws it at Trevor. And Alucard saves him. They're able to kill Drago, and then they go to try to stop Germain, which to some extent they don't succeed immediately, because Germain is able to pull Dracula and his wife out from hell and place them in the body of the that his generals created for Dracula's new body. And in order to stop Dracula from being resurrected, or stop Death's plan, they literally, after the barrier, this barrier breaks in between Death, Germain, and our heroes, Trevor blows up the body of using his new toy. Blows up the body of Dracula and his wife, and pretty much sending them back to hell. And the entire tower of their that they were in somewhat collapses. Trevor is left by himself with Death. Germain dies, and Sypha and Alucard are pretty much on the other side of where the bridge for the tower. Death takes this key that he gave Germain a while back and proceeds to devour the souls that were in it to become stronger. And then we proceed to have a kind of really freaking epic battle between not Alucard, but Trevor, Belmont, and Death. And Trevor, I'm just gonna say it, he gets a freaking beat down, really bad. You feel really bad for him in this, especially with how brutal Death is towards him in this fight. Almost to the brink of death. But before he completely dies, he inevitably uses his Morningstar whip to distract Death, giving him the chance to assemble this dagger that apparently he found at least the underground court in the city that they were in. And it turns out that I guess it was a weapon that could be used against Death, because all the pieces that he's collected, because throughout some of the early episodes he was finding pieces all over the town, or at least one piece he found off a dead body near episode, I think 1 or 2. Then at the underground court he found the initial dagger and another piece, and assembled it and used it as a weapon to basically defeat Death, or at least put him in another realm of existence. I don't know. Either way, it was kind of cool. And honestly, I don't know. It seems like Trevor might be gone, which I don't know how I feel about that. Because, again, I think he's one of my favorite characters. Isaac is one of my favorite characters, too. But it's man, I feel so bad for Trevor. And, oh my gosh, there was a really nice moment before he fights Death. He mentions how he pretty much tells Sypha he loves her. And also that Trevor is a very bad name. I'm kind of wondering if that was hinting on the fact that that Sypha might be pregnant. I'm kind of wondering. I don't know. It just seems like that. That's just a weird thing to say or mention. If not, like, if she wasn't pregnant, that would be kind of weird. But anywho, I mean, with everything, that's all that happens in episode 9. I'm gonna just say near the very end, it got me confused, especially with it kind of like abruptly ending like that, where he uses the dagger on Death and he just disappears, him and Death. So honestly, my mind is blown from that episode. It really is. All right, episode 10, the finale, and I gotta say, there's a little bit to talk about, as well as quite a few surprises that I did not expect with this episode. First off, talking about, I guess, the last moment of Lenore, who is no longer, or at least upset with the fact that she, I guess, considers herself caged and wants to be free. She has a talk with Hector before ending her own life by stepping outside in daylight and basically turning to dust. We have the aftermath of the village, or at least of what happened at Castle Dracula, where the refugees from Dynasty are basically building a new life. Not like basically creating a new town where the castle and the Belmont hold stand. And it was, I guess, an idea between Alucard and Greta, who, I'm not gonna lie, the dynamic between these two has, like, again, with all the shit that Alucard had to go through with season 3 and the unfortunate betrayal, to see this dynamic and him, like, trust people, and then people kind of, I want to say, growing close to other people, has been really cool. Like, really, really, really freaking cool. We also have a moment with Sypha, who is at first wanting to leave to try to find her caravan, as well as, mentions the fact that, again, what I had predicted, that she is pregnant, and she wants to, at first she figured it'd be better to be with her caravan and her people in order to care for the child, but Greta and Alucard convince her to stay. Afterwards, because at this point, right now, at least the reason she was going to leave anyways is because Trevor, at least for the time, and it's like 2 weeks after the fight with Death, they think that Trevor died. So, in that sense, she wanted to move on. But I guess we get some happy endings, because the horse that brought the dead messenger to Alucard shows back up with another passenger, or another rider. Turns out it's a near-death Trevor Belmont. And Sypha is surprised, Alucard is surprised, Sypha, in tears, tries to get Trevor help. Actually, after Trevor belittled her a little bit, like kind of making fun of her about picking the name Trefor for their child, she goes and tries to help, find help to get him, taken care of. Alucard questions Trevor about what happened, and Trevor mentions basically what I kind of figured was that, with everything that the people at Trovestor were collecting in the underground court, some of it were pieces of a dagger that they could use to basically kill beings like Death. But it may have been at the cost of Trevor's life. But, to defeat Death, that's probably worth the risk. So, inevitably, they, at this point, at least at this point, it seems like there's a happy moment, or a happy ending. It seems like they won. Which I'm kind of wondering if if anything, I'd be surprised if they continued after this. But, yeah, they won. And it seems like now they're just trying to rebuild. And when it comes down to Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard's story, it kind of ends there. Now, I want to talk about the special moment, the little nugget near the very end of the episode. It's at a random village, and it's raining, and we see two figures running into an inn. Turns out, it's Dracula and his wife. And when I saw this, I'm just thinking to myself, what the fuck? Not like angry, but more of, is this actually real? Are they still in hell? I don't know. But yeah, they somehow were brought back to life. And I'm just thinking to myself, how is this even possible? How... That doesn't make any sense, because Trevor did... I mean, as far as we know, Trevor basically killed them and sent them back to hell. And that's, again, unfortunately, I thought that's what happened. But I guess, no. In some sense of separating the hermaphrodite doll thing that Saint Germain made, I guess it separated them, from, or created, separate bodies for them, I guess. At least that's my only theory. I don't understand it. And we have them, apparently, and I guess as they describe it, apparently when they woke up, they were, basically naked and stole some clothes from somebody. So, they, and also money from a guy that they disliked. But in the end, they talk about their plans for their future. One, they're not going to, for starters, they're probably not going to immediately go to the castle, because they want to have, at least give their son closure. Which, honestly, it would have been interesting. Especially with now that Dracula is more level-headed. You'd think that would probably be something that he could still, be like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go to the castle and, try to be better. I don't know. It's just, I think that would be something they could do. And then at least they would have, a good doctor as well. Because if I remember correctly, Dracula's wife was very versed in science and magic, or not magic, but science and medicine. So they would have a doctor there. But, yeah, and it's I don't know if this is going to be, the final season, but it's really set up as if it's the final season. We get a lot of good endings for this. Everything's good. There's a new town being built around the castle, as well as the Belmont Hold. We have our three heroes having a happy ending. And we have Dracula and his wife also having, their own happy ending. It's interesting. I would be surprised if they found a way to continue this series or end it here. Either way, I'm going to just say right now, if this was the last episode of the series, no joke, no fooling anybody, I would kind of understand that and appreciate it. Because all in all, how far we've been through this for about 4 seasons. Actually, not exactly 4 seasons. And I gotta say, it's been probably one of the best experiences, story-wise, that we've gotten to see for Netflix, at least for one of their shows. Because again, I'm not gonna lie, Netflix has been doing a lot of great shows. So, that is my thoughts, or my final thoughts of episode 9 and episode 10. The finale episode. Again, I would be so surprised if they continue this. I don't know how they would, but it would be interesting. And with that, I think I have nothing else to say. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear what you guys leave in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Novakast signing off. Have a good one, and take care. Peace.